What is up, ladies and gentlemen? By the time you guys should already know what show this is, what's going on. My name is Anthony Parker Jr., the founder and CEO of AP Creative Services, LLC, and this is my new show, my new podcast, where you guys send me in questions and I read them back to you with answers from my perspective. It could be about my life, it could be about what I do day to day, my contracts, my relationships, my people, my businesses, and overall my projects. So I'm super interested to keep this thing going. If you guys want to know more, just send a question in. You can email me, you can DM me, you can comment on this post on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever platforms you guys see content on, throw them in there and I'll be sure to read them on the next episode. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe to this post, and let's get right into it. The first question I got from you guys, I'm super excited to get into this today. We got some real questions that we're sitting in. This one is mainly about fatherhood and balance. It says, what does being a father teach me about leadership? This is deep. Y'all been sitting in some deep stuff. Let's get into it. Being a father is huge. Being a father shows that you are the role model. You're the stepping stone. You're the top of the crop for your family. And for me, what it means is being that voice for my daughter. You know, being able to show her what's right from wrong, being able to articulate why I want something from her, what it is that I want to kind of convey to her, and why I don't want her to do something as well. It teaches me every day to stay consistent, to be able to pivot, and be able to kind of roll with the punches. Not every day is going to, go how you want it to go, and then not every day is going to, be what you thought it's going to be. So to be able to kind of pivot and kind of roll with the punches is something that I kind of learned early on. I'm still pretty new to this, y'all. I had a baby last year. I'm not a superstar. I had one Father's Day, so I got one good Father's Day present. I got so many more to go. But I'm excited to overall continue to learn more myself, but to show her even more of what I'm learning. What has been my proudest moment as a business owner? This is another good one, y'all. For me, my proudest moment up to date is to be able to bid for a six-figure contract. We're talking about bidding. Bidding is something else that was so foreign to me 6 years ago. Being able to say, hey, I can do this job. I can charge this, throw my name in the hat is a huge moment. And I want us to start celebrating this, but I want us to even start talking about it more. For me, that was something that I haven't had a conversation about. No one taught me this. I hadn't had nobody say, hey, put this in your, bid, put this in your proposal, write a proposal, create a proposal. Shout out to ChatGPT for kind of holding me down in this process. But for me, the proudest moment was to lock in on a huge contract, a huge bid, and to submit it. Fingers crossed that we're able to lock in and secure this thing 100%, but to be even able to bid for it and to be able to set myself across from other business owners that are offering the same, maybe even better services than me is huge. I'm just so glad to have the team behind me that's able to run with me. A lot of times for me, my business is only as successful as the people I surround myself, as strong as my contractors, as creative as I push or make them or allow them to be. And without them, I wouldn't be able to get any of this done. So shout out to them, but my biggest moment by far was being able to just bid for that stuff. My next question. How do I ensure my brand reflects my values and story? So this one talks about brands as a business owner, as a visionary, and just as a business owner across the board. Number one, you have to make sure that for your business you have a brand. What that looks like is a logo, a watermark, brand colors, mission and vision. You have to have that identified first before you do anything. What is it that you want to do? Why are you doing it? Who is the immediate audience? These are all questions that you should already have done, outlined before you even start offering your services. But how do you ensure that it reflects your values in your story is building a committee, building a board, building people that allow you to be reminded while you're doing the stuff that you're doing. You know, for me, one thing that I always do is I want my business to literally be here. And what that means is having people around me that can hold me accountable to here. And that could just be down the line. That could be what it is for your life. That could be for how you live within your business, but holding yourself accountable across the board. For me, you know, it could be a reminder. It can be you writing things out. It could be you staying connected to the neighborhood or the community that you represent. All of that kind of act as a reminder. You know, we're going through a rebrand with one of my clients, and they've been around for 60, 70 years. And one thing I always tell them is, what were y'all roots? Before we got this contract and started doing cool things, what were y'all doing in 1995? What were y'all doing? And why are we not still in that same realm? Yes, we can grow, we can scale, we can add more and do more, but like, where did you originate on that takes you to where you are now? And can we still add little specks of that to our overall mission and vision? And the answer is yes. You know, it may not look like that, but it can still resonate. It can still add touches. We can still have a reminder in our growth. And I would say you have to have a vision, number one, but you have to always be connected to something for your business to make sense as you grow it. This next question talks about mentorship in relationships. Who are some key mentors in my life and what did they teach me? I know a lot of you guys aren't going to believe me, but I honestly don't have any mentors. I do have people who were able to come into my life momentarily and kind of teach me something that I would learn from, but I have nobody on a day-to-day life, and this is something I'm working on. I'm not saying do this. This is something that is on my board of 25 things I want to do in the year 2025 is to find a solid, strong mentor that I can grow with, but I haven't had anybody to give me this to-do list, so I'm only giving you learned and lived experience. But for me, it was beneficial. But I will share a story that, you know, someone left a mark on my life, and it was about my contracts. Before I got into sending up some big time proposals and contracts, I was doing some MOUs. I was sharing memorandum of understanding between me and my hope by then, you know, contracts, right? Or relationships or retainers or whatever. Like I was sharing with them, the companies. The one thing that she taught me is she told me, send me a contract because I want to get my website redone. So I sent her a contract, I sent her an MOU. Yo, here's what I want to do. Here's how much it's going to cost. Here's the timeline. Here's everything that it entails. And I sent her the Word document. Put the price, everything, laid it all out for her so she can sign it. She signed it all out, filled some stuff out, sent it back to me. I'm like, yo, everything looks good. I signed it. She said, let's meet on Tuesday. I connect with her on Tuesday. She said, hey, I just want to talk about everything. I want to go over the numbers. So we were reading the contract, and I read it. I said, yeah, we'll do the whole website for $200. I said, hold on. I didn't say this. I didn't say this. And she said, sure you did. You signed it. Everything is there. What are you talking about? I said, no, like there's no way this should say $200. This is an error. I don't know how they signed. This is crazy. She was teaching me a lesson. She taught me, number one, don't send the Microsoft Word document to your potential person because they can edit it and manipulate it how they want it to do. But also, moreover, read your contract before you put that wet signature on it. Make sure the numbers are there. Make sure it's everything that you wrote that you want to propose to sign and to send in, but have somebody else look at it. You know, and she didn't mean any malice by it. She really was just trying to teach me something. We figured out the numbers were wrong and we put the right numbers and we re-signed it. But if it wasn't for that lesson, I would not have known to send PDFs to my clients with that wet signature, to reread and to look at things again, to really understand exactly what I'm signing for. And I thought that lesson still to this day is something that I remember. Like when I'm sending him, let me look at this. Let me just make sure everything that I'm signing is literally there and I'm able to do the job that I'm signing overall. So if y'all don't leave with anything, read them contracts thoroughly and make sure everything that you're agreeing to do is what you're agreeing to damn do. So check this one out. I want to save this one, and I want to save this for like episode 5 or 6, because we're going to get there, but I don't want this to be just yet. So sorry I didn't answer that one yet, but I will make sure we get to that. This one goes, how did I, and this is a question to me, how did I know it was officially time to launch AP Creative Services? This is huge. And realistically, this is something, I would rephrase it. How did I know it was time to take AP serious is what I would rephrase this question to, because this is something that's very recent. I know a lot of you look on paper and you see that my business was moving and shaking for the past 6 years. That's great. But it was moving and shaking as I was still venturing into other projects. I had a real job. I was out here doing the W-2 thing. I was getting benefits. It was a thing. And that was cool, but I didn't put 100% into my business. I am now at the place where everything is only AP. And what got me to that space is that I was making another person rich. I was making another business wealthy. I was helping another business grow, and I was giving them 110%, and I was giving my business too. That ain't it. If I see myself being financially free, if I see myself being able to really grow and scale my business, I need to put the time into it. I need to have the energy to do so. It was at that year, I want to say 1 year ago, I'm like, yo, the opportunity is here, but I can't do it because I'm working for them 9 to 5. 5 to 9, I could do some stuff, but just imagine if I had 24 hours to really get in and really leave impact on my business versus the little 12, which would really be 8, which is really 6, which is really 4, which is 2 hours to really get your business full. It's unrealistic. So I would say about a year ago, I took my business serious, and I was able to really start putting some work, some grit, some muscle, some resources into making my business successful. So I want to thank, those companies that I work with that taught me that one thing, to believe in yourself, to continue to be, resilient, to have faith, to understand your purpose and understand that you may need that business to start to build that financial capital. But once you're in a space where you're 100% in belief that you can get it there, once you build the clientele up, you built the resources up, and you built the belief in yourself to get to where you're going, for me, that's when I knew a year ago. Like I was in a chair in that office like, yeah, it's time. Let's do it. Let's go all in. We're here. So a year ago. I want to say this is my last question. We are getting low, so that means you guys need to send in some new questions so I can get on here and answer some stuff. But if you, feel inclined, feel like these things are beneficial, feel like you're growing, you're scaling, you're learning, and you feel like you can, learn from these type of conversations, these type of questions and answers, send us more questions. Subscribe, share this video, like, comment, and I want to do more for these, but I want to make sure that they're beneficial to somebody. I know I'm growing and I'm, benefiting, but I want to make sure y'all are. It's about us, My last question, how do I handle failure or rejection? If you're having a business, if you're going into the space where you want to have a business, you're going to fail. You're going to be rejected. Somebody's not going to agree with you. Somebody's going to say that number is too high. You got to be able to bounce back. For me personally, I'd pivot. Okay, that's not for me. That's fine. There's going to be a contract that's for me. I'm not going to go and put my head under the covers, put my head under the pillow and forget about life that day. No, life has to go on. My daughter got to eat. These bills got to be paid. That rent is due. So you got to be able to bounce back. You got to be able to 100% dust your shoulders off, get to work, and create more opportunity for yourself. I always say it on Instagram, the bag chases me. I can't get upset at the fact that opportunities are happening around me, but not happening for me. You got to stay ready. You got to stay prepared. You got to be brushing up. You got to stay ready to get in there, so at any moment somebody calls you to do your job, you're able to do it, especially as a small business or just a business owner in general. That's my last question for today, guys. Once again, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to these videos. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. Instagram, Facebook, any social media platform that you're on, I'm pretty sure that I'm on. So can't wait to connect with y'all, can't wait to build and do this some more. Until next time.